Yo, what's up, everybody? It is Tuesday, February 22nd, and I don't know, it's about 1 p.m. in the afternoon, New York time. I think it's a good moment for me now to retell my story about my appearance years ago on Fox News with, at that time, the former CEO of General Electric, Jack Welch. I've told this story many times, but I think right now, today is a good day because the market's down big right now. Just to back up a little bit, you might recall that I said February 15th would be the peak in fiscal flows, and then we get into this period of, correction because we have the March, April tax strains. I don't really feel that bearish because we're seeing some really good fiscal acceleration now. We're seeing tax refunds. So, like today, for instance, it just seems a little bit overdone. Dow is down over 500 points. By the way, just on a side note, I don't know if any of you have noticed, but the German stock market has made an all-time record high, a new all-time record high. The French stock market has made a new all-time record high, and that's Europe, okay? And ECB President Christine Lagarde came out today and said there's going to be no recession in 2023, and even though I don't like central bankers very much, as you know, I would not fade her words. I think she's right. But anyway, let me get to this story about Jack Welch. And the reason I want to talk about this today is because, we're seeing some of this market decline today is on guidance from companies like Walmart, Home Depot, stuff like that. But it's also on interest rates, and I'll talk about that at the end. But the story goes like this. It was back in early 2003. I was on, this predates Fox Business. It's just when Fox News had like a business, a business unit we used to do, and I was a regular there, and I was a contributor. But I was on a panel one day, and Neil Cavuto was the host, and we had Jack Welch, and Jack Welch, he was considered in the 90s when he ran GE, he was considered like the god of CEOs. He was like the greatest CEO of all time. At least that's how he was perceived by Wall Street. And, he ran he was behind or I guess the guy in charge when GE stock was like, that was the leading stock in the stock market, and it went up so much. We found out later on after he had left that he just kind of loaded the company up with all these financial lending units that ended up almost destroying the industrial heart of General Electric, which is what it was known for like 100 years before. Anyway, that not to digress. But it was early 2003, and that was when George W. Bush, the president at the time, Bush and Congress passed a stimulus because we were in a recession. And the stimulus was like sending out $300 checks to people, which at that time was like a big deal, and I think a family got $600. But the economy was in a recession because prior to that, remember, like Clinton, he ran budget surpluses, and budget surpluses, they just drain the economy of financial balances. Like, politicians think, oh, that's a great thing. That was the genius idea of, what the fuck is that guy's name? Dick Morris, goofball, who was Clinton's political advisor. But anyway, so the economy was in recession, and Bush says, well, we got to do a fiscal expansion, and Congress approved it. And so, I was on this panel, this show that day, and Jack Welch, who, again, he was considered the god of CEOs. Who am I? Mike Norman, nobody knows me. I'm a nobody, right? And Jack and Neil Cavuto said, so Jack, what do you think is going to happen? He said, I think the economy is going to stay deep, in recession. I don't see any possibility of us getting out of it. And, you know, he went on for a while with this very pessimistic view. And then Neil turned to me, and, you know, I don't get as much time to speak as Jack Welch. I mean, again, who am I? I'm nobody, right? I'm just nobody. I'm still nobody. And then I said, I think the economy is going to rebound. I mean, people are going to be sent checks and they're going to spend, and it's going to start to create an economic recovery. And sure enough, you know, by the third quarter, the economy was in a full rebound. And so the moral of the story, what I'm trying to say here is that don't always go with these CEO or these corporate exec guidance. I mean, they're not any better at predicting any kind of forward economic conditions as any of these economists. Most of them are all terrible anyway because they rely on lagging data. Businesses rely on their current books. And even if they're looking at their books like 3 months or 6 months out, it doesn't incorporate what could be a pickup in demand just because economic conditions improve. You know, again, we saw this. I keep coming back to this, but we saw this last year. I don't know if it was the second or the third quarter when JP Morgan, it came out and Wall Street hated their results. You know, stock JPM, and they were saying, sell it. It was at 105, you know, now whereas it's 145, 140. You know, I'm just telling you guys, like, you can't follow this stuff. You got to have an understanding of, you know, how to discern, how to figure out what forward conditions are going to be like. And that's all about the fiscal flows. Look, I've been telling you, not just what's going to happen, but I've been giving you exact date points, like calendar dates based on flows. We know what these flows are. And, you know, I just mentioned a minute ago how, God, I got an itch. I just mentioned a minute ago how France and Germany made new highs. Well, guess when they bottomed? Those markets bottomed in October of 2022, which is exactly when the fiscal contraction in the United States bottomed and started to, you know, advance now into a reacceleration of the fiscal. We got a lot more of these monetarist zombies here and media in the United States than they do in Europe. So it's just a matter of time before we're going to see new all-time highs as well. The only thing I'm still worried about, and that's, you know, off in the future in June, is the debt ceiling. But I still think that something is going to be resolved on that. Anyway, that's just a quick update for right now. I'll do another video later today. Talk to you guys later. Bye.